James Gunn, the CEO of the DCU, but also the director of Superman, is talking about his next DCU project. He's got a few things he feels like he could do, as well as almost all of Peacemaker Season 1 is canon with a very specific exception. This is Mark Cassidy as well from Comic Book Movie. DC Studios Co-CEO James Gunn still isn't sure which DCU project he'll direct after Superman, but he's not short of a few options. While speaking to Collider, Gunn reiterated that he is heavily involved with upcoming projects, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and Lanterns, but has yet to decide which movie or series he'll step back behind the camera for. I've got like 4 different things I could do, and I'm going to kind of jump back and forth between those things, Gunn told the site. I'm going to see which one really speaks to me, and that's the one I'm going to do. One thing I've tried to make clear to people from the beginning is that everything in DC is going to be based on the writers. Until we have a screenplay that I'm totally happy with, that movie is not going to get made no matter what it is. We just spoke about that a second ago. Gunn helmed episodes of Peacemaker Season 2 along with Brad Anderson, Session 9, Rosemary Rodriguez, The Walking Dead, and Jody Hill, The Righteous Gemstones, and he also confirmed that multiple other R-rated projects are being discussed. But the story is what will ultimately inform the rating. It's not about testing out to see if this thing works. It's just about telling a story. If a story is going to be R-rated, we're totally okay with that. If it's going to be PG, PG-13, or G, I don't care. Whatever is worthy of the story, that's what we're going to do. Speaking of Peacemaker, Season 2, DC Studios Co-CEO James Gunn has now clarified some confusing comments he made earlier this year about the first season of Peacemaker, which he said he didn't view as being canon with the new DCU despite the upcoming second season being a part of the burgeoning shared movie and TV universe. While speaking to IGN, Gunn revealed that almost all of Peacemaker Season 1 is canon, with one notable exception that you've probably already guessed. Creature Commandos, you hear them talk about things that happen in the Suicide Squad or Peacemaker, Gunn explained. Well, then those things automatically become canon. The truth is, almost all of Peacemaker is canon with the exception of Justice League, added Gunn, which we will kind of deal with in the next season of Peacemaker. As expected, the comedic sequence featuring members of the League showing up too late to save the day in the season finale of Peacemaker will need to be retconned. We're not exactly sure how Gunn intends to accomplish this, but thanks to some recent set photos, we might have a pretty good idea. The photo has been since removed. A mural was spotted on set earlier this year featuring Cena's Peacemaker wearing a slightly different costume, his father in his white dragon outfit, and a mysterious third character who many believe will turn out to be Christopher's late brother, Keith. We do know that Robert Patrick is set to return as Augie Smith despite being killed off in the Season 1 finale, spoiler alert, and the characters somehow finding themselves in a different part of the DC multiverse would explain Gunn's comments about Season 1 not being a part of the DCU. Rather than simply pretending the Justice League cameos didn't happen, Gunn may be planning to bring Peacemaker and supporting characters into a whole new reality, something that we've talked about on Capes and Cows a lot. Peacemaker is set to return to our screens for a second season next August. All right, man. So there was a lot here. The first part just talking about what Gunn will do next. Again, he's made it very clear. His cornerstone, his North Star for all of this, it's all story-based, whatever makes the most sense. So other than there's plenty for him to do, if he's going to essentially be the Feige of this universe, there is a level of, well, maybe let me not jump right into this. Let me make sure that all of the ships are sailing, and then I will come back to getting behind the camera and directing stuff directly. Because he's still very clearly, the overall story is his to tell. By him being the Feige of this universe, he is the one telling the general story. The individual stories are then with the people that he decides to collaborate with, and that's what you want to see anyway, that he gets in the mix every now and again as a director, but let other people get in there and mix it up. That's really how that will end up working exceptionally well. So I love the fact that he really has a very succinct plan of how he wants to tackle this, and he's not going to let anybody kind of shake him from it, including rush this out so we can get, no, we ain't rushing nothing. We're getting the best of the best to pop off in this motherfucker. Other than that, we talked about this a lot on Capes and Cows about the idea that Peacemaker will most likely end up being a cross-universe hopping, that, you know, the DCEU, Peacemaker, and whatever characters via the helmet end up in the DCU's universe. And that truly makes the most sense. Even potentially how Waller ends up over there, that would also make some sense. But again, we'll see what happens. I'm very curious to get Peacemaker Season 2. Peacemaker Season 1 was one of my top shows of the year when it came out. And other than that, like I am fully at peace and I am being patient with anything Gunn wants to do. The fact that Gunn not only wrapped Superman with minimal reshoots, they may have to do a little bit more, but they're already doing screenings. Like, they're in post and they're already doing screenings as Superman. I didn't really cover that story because there's not much to talk about, but that has apparently already happened. There's a few screenings have happened with some folks. So that gets me kind of amped up. Like, if they're feeling this good about it this early on, great. So let me know what you think down in the comments.